We're here.
Yeah, it's been a while. This was like 3-4 years in the making at this point.
Literally.
I feel like I don't know what took us so long, but here we are.
Yeah.
Just be happy about it.
This is crazy.
I mean, to be honest, like I said, I've been kind of off social media for a little while too, and I just I popped back on maybe last month, and Alan. It was funny because we were out and I hit it with a bang. If I'm coming back, I'm like hitting you with 12 pics, 2 videos, couple story posts. Like you're gonna be overwhelmed with me. I went live, and then as I'm live, I'm looking at the comments and everybody's like, "You have something in your teeth," and I was like, "Fuck." I was so upset, and it really was. It was bad. It was like I had just eaten. I don't even know. I don't want to ruin this, but it was like lasagna or something. It was just like a piece of parsley right there. And I'm all cute. I'm thinking on live. Like, it was bad.
The exact reason why you got off of it.
Of everything was, it was for judgment purposes and mental health. And as soon as I get back on, it's like, yeah, you got something on your tooth.
Hitting you right back with it.
Hitting me right back.
Oof.
Yeah,
that's a really good segue, because this has been like a whole transition period of like when I first met. First of all, I need to have you introduce yourself. Let them know who you are.
I haven't. So I am Aly Sorto. I am a model, influencer, I guess you could say YouTuber at this point. I mean, hello. I've been doing it for a little while. For the most part, I am a mom though. So that's kind of like what I really take pride in saying that I am. But I'm also like just really big on just being myself. Like my brand is myself. And you kind of have gotten to know me. I think when people see me on Instagram, they see just like a shell. And it's of my own doing. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
I think you, on being online in this world, you kind of you like pigeonhole yourself into an identity.
Yeah.
And then that's all people think of you. So right now you might look at me as like a, two-dimensional person. But as you get to know me and you see, like, people have always wondered, like, me and Max, like, we started working together, but from the work, we started to spend a lot of time together, and like it was just enjoyable. So like even as we've moved around, Alan and I, my partner, he plays for the NFL. He's a wide receiver. We just got to the Steelers, so I guess I can say Pittsburgh.
Let's go.
Pittsburgh Steelers. And we take Max everywhere. Like everywhere we go, Max is flying out. Just sometimes like for nothing, like for shits and gigs. Like just
we're live out of Jersey right now.
We're live out of Jersey right now. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good introduction to who I am.
Yeah. And it's crazy too, because here, like, not to bring this to me, but like, it's crazy because I'm like behind the camera now. Because when we first met, like the whole reason why we met was because you had me film your podcast.
My podcast. Yeah.
Well,
no
call
cover
it out. No cover charge.
Sure. No cover charge. We're coming back. Season 2. But Max was our video guy. And it was so funny because I had interviewed maybe 5 different people for the position. And something just felt right about Max. So, serendipity. As it would happen. Yeah. And overall, like anytime I've gone somewhere, your connections, like that's why it's such a seriously,
it's very real.
It pays off to be a good human because your recommendations, like everyone I've ever met that says like Max has put me on to something or someone, they can take your word for bond. Like you're not lying, you're a genuine person. So we got lucky with Max.
You appreciate that. Yeah, we were just talking about that earlier, but it really has been like a crazy cycle of things. I mean, as you can imagine, I'll let you speak on, obviously better than I do, but like, hiring a guy to do video is
it's really
crazy
difficult.
As a woman.
It's really hard to hire someone, especially like in general, like for any type of position. Even as I tell Alan when I'm working towards something for a different kind of brand, like, and I'm trying to make a deal, I tell him, I'm like, I want the lawyer involved. I want you to be on the phone call. Because as women, particularly women who, I'm proud of my physique. I do a lot of fitness content. I love my body. I love, you know, I'm very proud of being a woman. So like that can be intimidating for a lot of people, and a lot of men can take that the wrong way. So I think, can you hear Ami in the background?
I might hear Ami in the back. It's all good. It's part of the vibe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a mom. I told you guys, I'm taking a break right now. So
keeping it real.
But it's just hard to find someone that's not going to be weird, that they're going to give me the content that I want without it making them feel weird.
Yeah.
And just someone I could trust. And it's hard. Like, I mean, Max, like, I don't know if I should say this because they're going to want to hack you, but I was going to say, like, I'll give this guy all my passcodes. Like, I trust him with, like, my, like, the deepest shit that I have. So I just, like, it goes to show a lot.
It's all good. It's also crazy because like when I think about it, like day one you were like messaging me to do the podcast, and like back then when we were filming the podcast episodes and you guys were putting that up, like neither you or I think were like as ingrained in YouTube as we are now.
Yeah.
And so it's been like a whole seeing the growth.
Yeah.
Like, especially with you and, like, the content you've been doing and, like, how we, like, put it together and are thinking about different things, like the algorithms or things about what's
It's
popular.
a growth. Yeah, it was a growth that happened naturally. We, like, entangled and we learned together, I feel like. And I think what was so funny about the YouTube community is, like, we will watch different realms on YouTube. And then sometimes we'll cross over. It's like a Venn diagram. Sometimes we'll, like, watch the same stuff. The funniest is he has my password for my YouTube. So like there was a time where I was going down a rabbit hole of watching like really conservative debates, and not because I'm conservative, guys, total liberal.
She's not, I can promise.
Nah, I'm not a conservative, okay? It was just for shits and gigs.
People
you know, like when you want to...
This damn conservative he's doing a podcast with.
Oh my God. Jeez Louise. Out of nowhere, he starts like hitting me like, hey, you okay? Just checking in. And I was like, I'm fine, but I knew it was coming because I knew he could see like my watch, and I didn't go incognito either. You know, you can go incognito, and I was like, no, you're gonna see what I've been watching. But it was cool. You know, I was glad that you were able to like snap me out of that little rabbit hole I was going down. And he put me on some really cool YouTubers. He put me on Hassan. I love Hassan now. Big Hassanabi guy.
Hassanabi head, as they say.
Hey. Is that the terminology?
That's the terminology. Okay. Hassanabi head.
Hassanabi head.
Okay. Get it straight.
My bad. Not the chatters coming for me, please.
I'm like a real chatter at this point.
Yeah, you're a real chatter, Max. I don't
Pay the $5 a month subscription.
You're like that person who's like an alter ego on side. I don't know who you are in the chat. I bet you don't even talk like yourself.
I started using the emoticons recently.
All right. Yeah, I know. You like become a whole different... It's like a Finsta.
Yeah.
It's like a Fitch. A Fwitch.
We should get more into that later on. But what I was gonna say is like, so it's just crazy because like that is one of the aspects of like things that we're like talking about as you've got into YouTube. And I guess like one thing that like I sort of know the answer to, but I don't, is like I want to hear like your perspective on like, because we got your channel going from like 0 subs to like, what are you at now, like
no, actually it's 226.
226K. Yeah. It's crazy.
Like
and so there's a lot to unpack there though with that. And so I want to kind of like hear your perspective on like how you felt day one to now, you know what I'm saying?
You know, it's been a lot of acceptance and appreciation. So like the thing that's different on YouTube is I think the community, they're a lot more bold. The beta male element is there a lot more. There's a lot. I had never been told that I was ugly or that I was not the ideal body type. I've never been told that like to my face. So on YouTube they do that. They do that a lot. Yeah. It was a vast difference for me, but it gave me a bit of thick skin because my one friend had told me that all engagement is good engagement at some point. So, you don't want to weed out the negative comments. They're still going to add to your engagement. So that was a testament for me. But I think the whole gender thing, I've always had like a male dominated following. And it could be frustrating at times, but I think as I'm getting older and I'm seeing that there are a lot of males that are not weird and they're actually really supportive and they're kind, and I've had some weird situations with women online. So I don't look at it as a gender thing. I don't hate having a majority male. I've just grown to have gratitude. So it's been a journey, and I love my following. That's the point. That's the end story. I love my following. I am who I am. I'm gonna keep growing, and I think the whole idea is to not put yourself in a box. And if you want to switch up your content, do that. And the people who really mess with you are gonna follow it. You know.
What is your experience like? I mean, I kind of know as far as like, you know, different aspects of it, but like, how do you feel about like when you go from posting like, so the videos that we work on to get people to like, you know, I know you kind of mentioned it. We do like
clickbait. Yeah, it's kind of like clickbait. Like a lot of the fashion hauls, we know that stuff's gonna go viral. Sometimes gym stuff is gonna go viral just because people want to look at girls. A lot of women though too. Can we like take a second? Take a second? Because I'm a female. I'm a woman. I am by doctor definition, I'm a woman. I don't know how to say that. I don't want to sound, you know, but the point is I can say that I like to look at women. Like I really do. So all these views and stuff, there might be there might be men in there, but there's also women. So, it's been really interesting to say the least.
Do you feel like, because like for me, like as I talk about different aspects of YouTube, like comes like, you know, figuring out your like niche. And so like when you're making videos in like a different area outside your niche, so like you've put up like some talks about like different like mental health things, or you've put up like different talks about like your life and things that are not just like directly related to the gym. Do you feel like you're like more female audience, or more I should say, to be politically correct, women audience that's there is,
or just, I would say, I wish there was just a term for just like a soul, like it attracts the genuine souls. So that's male, female, non-binary, like whatever you want to classify as. I find when I do post stuff like that, like sometimes I'll post maybe something that I find interesting and it doesn't get as many views, but when I do open up about mental health, when I do allow myself to be vulnerable, I found that I attract a really genuine crowd. So I love it. And I think, you know, it's, again, we know what kind of stuff to do to get clicks. I'm in a position in my life right now that I'm very lucky, where I'm not like so pressed to do that. And I see how people burn out, you know, and I learned too. I stalked a lot of popular YouTubers, and I saw that it's like fucking, it's like the hood, and you know, you're either gonna end up in jail or dead. Like you're either gonna go loony or you're just gonna go off the rails. Like you have to like have a break. You have to allow yourself to like, you know, because I wasn't gonna, if I kept making content just to go viral, I was gonna completely lose my identity. And then I was gonna lose the whole point. I did this to show people that I wasn't just a body, that I wasn't just that, you know. I don't want to take that away though. I am a body. I am a body, and I love my body. Okay. And I love everything else though. So there we go.
And yeah, that's been like your whole like channel. I mean, that's like the banner on your channel even. It's like you, your family, your daughter, like
fitness.
It's like fitness, like it's everything across the board.
Mental health for sure.
And so I think it's nice that you do that, because like you said, I mean, you're in a position that you're able to do that. And I think too, I see it where a lot of creators, they change their content and they find themselves down that rut of like not getting the views and not getting, the audience doesn't come back for it. And one thing that we were just talking about actually just before this is how YouTube has come out with like YouTube Shorts, which is something, I guess, I don't know if we've put up any on your channel or not. I don't think so.
I think I did, and then I took it off. I deleted it. It's just not it's just not for me. And I don't know. I'm 30. You know, right?
Yeah.
She's fucking 30. Yeah, I get it. I am at a space in my life where and I don't even think age has to do with it. I think it's a brain thing. I like long form content. The longer, the better, baby. Like I will break it up into 3 days if I have to. And I like to rewind and rewatch. And that's just me. I can't do like the... and then just moving on. It literally gives me anxiety. Yeah. I just like to chill, throw something on, learn something. And I like to feel like attached to the person I'm watching. You know, like don't we all have like a meta relationship with people, or what do they call that? Parasocial relationship with the people that we watch. We do. Yeah. We love them. That's why we buy their stuff. And that it coins into Elise. Like I was telling Alan, I was trying to explain to him that she had made the post the other day about being on Jimmy Fallon because of her video going viral or something like that. Yeah. And she had like posted the video, like, put it on my resume, it still counts. And everyone in the comments was like, I need that on a t-shirt, I need that. And this is like 2,000 people talking about I need this on a t-shirt, when they could very well go print it themselves. And for the low, if you like that quote, if you really like that quote, you could just go on like $5. What's this shirt? This fucking shirt company? I don't even know. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Just like the regular shirt company. Yeah.
You go on the internet and you can make it, but because people love her, they love her. They will buy anything that she sells, and they know that it's hers too, so they want to give her credit. So the goal is just to like be yourself, because like even if you have, it's like relationships, you're gonna have ebbs and flows. Like it's gonna go up, it's gonna go down. Just don't give up when you're down. Yeah
And I think that's so crazy because like and you brought this up earlier, but it's so crazy because like Elise is a content creator that you showed me. And like that's the craziest part about it.
That's like when we were getting like cool, like we were like actually becoming friends. We were like, hey, watch this, I like this.
And once you show me Elise, it's like I'm now finding other friends of mine too. They're like watching Elise. I'm like, oh, you watch Elise too? And it's like I wouldn't have had that connection with those people.
And it gives you like it gives you a cue into somebody's brain.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? Like without knowing, it's like, oh, you like that too. I feel you. You know?
Yeah. And that's what's also crazy is because like through going like down the rabbit holes on YouTube and stuff, like as Aly's mentioning earlier, like she would hit a point of like finding those like conservative YouTubers that I was like, yo, I don't know about that. Listen, and then like,
because look, this is what it is with that stuff, right? They start off talking fact and they're good for like 3 sentences, and then like the final 2 they shit the bed. Sorry, Max. Like they bleep the bed, you know. And it's just like, all right, you're Looney Tunes. Like, and I kind of like to watch stuff like that just to have the right banter, because I never want to be put in a position where I don't know how to respond, or I don't know what the other side is going to come with, you know. I think it's like important to have both. And that's where we were just talking about it. That's where all this thing is going. Debates. People love to watch everybody debating nowadays. That's like what's cool.
It's so many like debates, and sometimes even over like the silliest stuff, like stuff that's already been like day one, this is what it is, and then people are still trying to make the debate.
People are still like arguing about like, are you cooking your man food or not? Like, do women cook or not? Like, why are we still talking about this? Like, you find what you like. You know what I mean?
Be you.
Find what you like. Max, if you want a girl that just wants to like cut videos with you and you guys are gonna order pizza and you're gonna be fine with that, find that. You know what I'm saying? Like me and Alan personally, sometimes we have those nights where we're like, he knows I'm gonna roll up a little J. Sorry, Max, I don't know if you want this on your channel.
No, you.
But good. I'm gonna chill, and he's like, let's order some pizza. And then other nights he's like, what are you cooking? And I'm like, I'm gonna cook my man some good food right now. I love it. I love it here. And I want everybody to love it where they're at. You know, I think we could all like respect and learn from each other in that way. If everyone was the same, how corny would that be?
Imagine that. The most boring world ever. You just be like, I already know what you're up to. Cool.
Yeah. Same experiences, same opinions. Like, no, and that's what like ruffles your feathers and gets your juice going when you see it's interesting because what got me back on social media was I saw someone doing the same. Like, I have a plan right now for something that I'm working on for the next few months, and someone did something eerily similar and they dropped it, and I was devastated. I was devastated.
That's crazy.
And for like days I didn't know what to do. I was like in a dump. I was like, I'm done. I can't go back from this. And Alan was like, no, like, this is the juice that you needed, because the guy upstairs, or whoever, the universe, the vibe, the energy, it knew that I needed like something to kick my ass into shape and like tell me to do my thing. So
and I think that's also like the glory too of the internet is there's like so much out there, especially like as you were talking about the debates and so many different things, but like even then, like even a lot of stuff can be so similar. There's still like you can still weave your way right in there, and like whether you got a similar opinion or whether or not like, your opinion is still different from the next person's opinion or even thought or whatever it is. And I think that's the glory of it, but I think that's also leads into like why there's so many debates too, because like to give it to like a more recent example, there was like that, like the Mr. Beast situation of Chris announcing that he's transgender. That just like turned a bunch of heads on the internet, and it's like, well, I think that's a common thing from day one. Like, that's not drama.
It's not even like I would understand if this were the fact, but if Mr. Beast was completely just adjusting his content to being towards the trans community, like everything was about that, and then I would understand. I'm saying I wouldn't understand, but I'm saying I would kind of understand a little bit of outrage, just because people love Mr. Beast and they love the content that he puts out. But if it's not affecting the stuff that he's putting out, if it's not affecting him personally, if he's still the person you love, that shouldn't bother you. And if it does, it says more about you than anything else, because like you should have more shit to worry about, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, other than that, because his content isn't gonna switch up. It's silly.
I actually, so I have a commentary channel, and I made a video talking about it, and I actually just read a comment.
Did somebody say something
someone
stupid?
left a very unique comment about this, and unique in a bad way. But it was like, I was just like reading this person's like long comment where they kind of like hit me with something that could like sound, let's back to what you were saying. It's like, it sounds like it could work in an argument at first, and then it just like shits the bed in the back end of the comment. And here, I'll try to pull it up here. And for those of you that don't know, Sunny V2 made a video about this Mr. B situation, which kind of like leaned towards a narrative.
And they're the content creators that they don't show their face, right?
Yeah, the faceless content creators.
I mean, I'm not gonna say anything, but come on, it's like very easy to hide behind a computer screen and say your opinion.
Literally.
Just saying, but go ahead.
And like, it's crazy because like Sunny V2's like, the most part, like his videos are like not even leaning towards one narrative, but this one felt like it, and more content creators made videos being like, all right, like there were people like H3 Podcasts, there's people like D'Angelo Wallace, people like Ro Ramden that I watch, like just all sorts of people making commentary videos on this. And so it's like, I don't think that many people are going to come out, and like D'Angelo Wallace got off of his 9-month YouTube break just to say how bad this video was. And that said too, like it kind of comes back to what you were saying earlier about, you like to look at both sides of it. And it's like, this is one of those situations on the internet where it's like, okay, I can look at the other side, but what is the other side? The other side is to say that trans people aren't allowed to be, and it's like, no.
In existence,
it's like people in that community already have their, their guards up 24/7.
Yeah.
So it's wild that people are coming on here to say, Sonny took a relatively impartial look at the situation and summarized how the community feels. It seems like you're detached from reality, so you can't see that most people do not agree with you about this topic. Like, I was like,
true. I just, again, like I said, and I didn't watch it, so I might be ignorant on it, but I don't believe that Mr. Beast has completely changed his content overnight. Like, you don't even see it, right?
Yeah.
Like, It's not correlated to his content. So what does it matter?
And
what's happening behind the scenes? Like,
it's
not you. You don't have to go home with them. Like, it's not, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And that's like the craziest part of it. 'Cause it's like, what?
But that does go hand in hand. Ugh, I'm a little stuffy, guys. Sorry. That does go hand in hand with what I was saying about the Trapler Ross thing, where you were saying, like, because the Sunny V2, the difference between this content versus all his others, this one was heavily opinionated and like based on his sole opinion, like not like anybody else's. It was just how he felt about it, and it felt a little triggered, right?
Yeah.
So people were saying the same thing about the Trapler Ross guy, you know, just like the clickbaity title that they use that could trigger people, or just having your own personal opinion. And then that goes, I don't know, dude, it's so hard to say. It's really hard because like people should be allowed to say their opinion, but you don't have to be insultive. Like you don't have to be mean. There's a reason why I always say be kind in all my videos. Like, don't be bullies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he could have reported on that in a different way, and it would have done numbers, and he wouldn't be an asshole right now. Or she, whoever they are, the faceless creator.
Yeah, literally.
Isn't that true? Like, if they would have created a video on it without, like, kind of making it seem like that it would have done numbers in itself.
Yeah, literally. And it's now only doing numbers now because it's at like 4.2 million, because it's like
people are watching it for the
it kind of reached like the weird community on YouTube after all. And because people are,
I'm gonna have to like look this up.
Yeah, look, it's on Sunny V2's channel, but it's crazy how like that, again, this is like back to what we were talking about with like different arguments that are on YouTube right now. And what was the one that you were just watching that I said was down in your tabs with
Pearly Things?
No, Pearly. That was a no.
Yikes, let me not call her out. She's going to come for me and say I'm a harlot for having an Instagram and posing in a bikini.
That was like that anti-feminist,
like rhetoric of like, if you have more than one body, you're worthless piece of shit. You should just die. Like pretty much it's like that. That's the energy they're giving with, where it's like, I feel like you can guide women, because I totally, now having a daughter and speaking from that perspective, I could tell you, I don't really like the whole, and it's hard because I've done modeling and I've done the whole like sexy vibe, right? But I also don't like music nowadays and stuff is like really sexually charged.
Yeah, it is.
And if my kids are allowed to like see that, then I also want them to have like the opposite, where it's like someone could tell them like it's okay to be conservative and you could still be sexy and conservative, and have like the other side, but not the extreme. Like, why do you have to take it to the extreme? You know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if she were to just like, you know, save yourself, or give it for another way, like say you're doing it for yourself. Like her whole spiel is like, do this for the man. Like the man is gonna value you more. Like, no, girl, do it for you. Like you're gonna feel better about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it's just all display. Sorry, Max.
No, and I think that's you bring up a really good point there, because like what a lot of times what I wonder, and it kind of comes back to the conversation you and I were having earlier, is like like do they do it for the algorithm?
Yeah. But
also B, if it's like not for the algorithm, then what are they? They're doing it for the attention. So it makes me wonder, like, you know, is that person really being like, is that really who they are? Or like maybe they shut off the camera and they're another person, but they know how to get the clicks, back to what you're saying. So it's like,
well, yes, I do think that, because I will say, I think Patrick CC touched on this, where I forgot who he was talking about, but he said like, everything is an act. Like this whole, I think he was talking about deep fakes and Twitch streamers and all that stuff, and how they were getting ripped for like, women were this is very, I feel this too, women were getting ripped for not being forthcoming about their relationship status. And like these really famous Twitch streamers, they were like, you know, guys were mad when they found out that she had a boyfriend or something like that, and someone tried to like expose her for having a boyfriend. The point was that Patrick CC was saying we kind of have to, you know, and that's like part of the whole thing. Like you're amping it up for the camera, you know, you're showing one part of your personality. If you're gonna like short fuse if you're trying to like show every side of you, because if you looked at me, I was raised Jehovah's Witness. I am a Cuban. My parents were immigrants. I love to smoke weed. I'm a mom. I love fitness. I love health. Like I'm all over the place.
Very multidimensional.
I'm like very multidimensional here, and I don't fit in any kind of box. So like I would short circuit if I tried to do that for every single video. I have to like focus. Like here I'm gonna be the fashion hall sexy girl. Here I'm gonna be the fitness guru. Here I'm gonna be the mental health advocate. Like that makes it all easier. So I think it is definitely putting on an act for people. But I think those videos are weird. The ones that are like really triggered, very opinionated.
You know, after all, that is the internet. You know what I'm saying? It's like we were talking about something before this where we think it's like it's interesting on YouTube that you can't like have a certain like section of people watching your stuff like for your content. You're saying like have like a specific audience that you're choosing to watch it.
Yeah, I wish I could gear it towards women because I would feel a lot more comfortable. I have that on Instagram where I have like just a women only page, and it feels really authentic, and it feels safe. So I wish that I could have that on YouTube. I feel like that's something they're like purposely not doing it for some reason, because it's something that could be so simple.
So many more people will come to YouTube like specifically for that reason. Like literally, like I was saying earlier, like if the trans community had their own like audience of trans people watching their stuff, like
that'd be so dope. They'd be like a little gang.
Literally.
Like they could like just like and it would make you, that would help like fundraisers, like overall, like any kind of community. They have something like that called Meetup. There's like an app. Somebody had just put me onto that. Like one of my friends no, not for YouTube, but it's like it's an app. I'm like they should sponsor us. But it's called Meetup, and I had like asked my friend, I was like, what are you doing? And she was like, oh, I'm about to go play ball. And I was like, with who? And she lives in the city, and she was like, oh, I with some people I met on Meetup. And I was like, what? So I downloaded the app, and you could look for anything you're into. So it'll be like, oh, I'm into like Broadway shows, I'm into like arts and crafts, I'm into yoga, I'm into media. And then like you just click on that, and you'll find different people that'll put like dates for things. They'll be like, on this date is a Broadway show. On this day there's a video workshop. On this day, and it's so cool because it like brings communities together. And especially if you're like new in a city, that should be super helpful.
But
I say that to say YouTube should have that. That would be super awesome.
Better be listening, YouTube. We're dropping some ideas out here.
How dope would that be if you had like just like a skateboard community? To, like, solely stick that out too.
I do think about that.
You're basing it off of the algorithm, and the algorithm is not your friend.
No, it's not.
It's not your friend. Just saying.
I mean, like, it's so interesting too, because like at the same time me saying this, there's people that are going to be watching this that like no matter, like if I were to just drop skateboarding, let's say I dropped it today and was just like, all right, now I'm a football player today. Like there's people that would still like, no matter what, outside of just my family, I'm saying like people that are friends of mine that are going to watch it, and even internet people, they're like, no matter what this person's into, I'm going to still watch the support. Like I'll get comments on my skate videos like that. And I'm sure you get comments like that too. Yeah. And it's like, it's so crazy because like, as we talk about like that being a good thing, those other people still do exist.
For sure.
And I think that's like the kind of the silver lining of it.
It's hard, you know. I've seen a lot of this might be word of the year, grift. I'm seeing a lot of people, a lot of women my age, right? So I talk about this a lot. I wanted to make a YouTube about it. So a lot of women my age, models, they're transitioning. So they're either going like the OnlyFans route and they're like doing real like extreme content, or they're mothers and they're turning super conservative and like super Christian, and you know, then there are some in betweeners, you know, like me. But it's just very interesting to see, and I see that's becoming like a thing. And I had saw one girl who she was actually like an exotic dancer. She was very like, you know, out there, and she completely cleared all her social platforms. She had crazy amount of following, crazy platform. And now she's all about her religion and just like her spiritual journey. And it was funny because she had posted one of those cheesy quotes where it was like, change is the hardest in the beginning, is like the messiest in the beginning, the hardest in the middle, but the sweetest in the end, or something like that. But it was cheesy, but I totally felt it because I could respect her. Like, it took a lot of balls to clear your slate like that. It takes a lot of balls to pivot like that. You know,
it is so hard. It is so, they make it so difficult to make that
but
pivot.
the truth is we're gonna have to pivot. Our content is gonna have to grow with us,
with
like,
you, literally.
How weird would it be if I was 45 making legging hauls? How weird would that be? Let's be real. Like, being like, hey guys, like, that would be, you'd be like, all right, you weirdo.
You're like 70 years old.
Yeah. No, now they're gonna be like, they're ageist.
Yeah, people literally would make that argument. Yeah, literally.
But no, speaking honestly, I have to switch, like, subtly. Subtly you do it as your interests change, because as you're growing up, you're gonna like different things. I hope.
I have that. That's like a real fear of mine that exists to this day. Like, when I'm like, so like I have another channel and make commentary content. Yeah. But I'm like people that know me know that I'm very like, I'm into skateboarding. I like internet drama. I also like filming things.
I love internet drama.
I also like there's so many different things that I'm into. It's like, I like going golfing, but I also like fishing too. You know what I'm saying? Like, different things like that, where it's like, I'm thinking about all these things, but certain days I wake up and I have a skate channel, but I'm like, yo, my brain's not feeling skateboarding today. Like,
I feel that.
I just want to hop on this channel and be like, yo, this Mr. B stuff's crazy. And I know that my audience is going to be like, dude,
told you.
Why are you so dramatic? What's wrong with you?
No, that was like, remember I woke up and I was like, I want to start doing reaction videos. Yeah. Like, out of nowhere, like that. Like, I still want to do that, but the point is, that's like, yeah, that's kind of why I started to go missing, besides like other things. But I started to get burnt out in the fitness realm of things, and also getting the comments like, oh, you're fat, or like all the gym bros going viral under my comments. It was just, it's a lot. Yeah, it took me away from that. And I guess that's the whole point of it, where you should feel comfortable to just kind of like do different stuff and, you know, show different sides of you.
That's actually a good segue, because I was going to ask you like about who your favorite content creators are that you've like watching you, but not only that, but like, who do you watch that like inspires you on YouTube right now?
Okay. All right. I would say it's so funny. It switches every other month because I'm so new. Like, I don't know. You've been on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe we've been like really into it at the same amount of time. I feel like you've been a little longer than I have.
Yeah.
But right now I'm obsessed with Cody Co. That's like the comedian, the humorist. That's like I want to turn my brain off. I want to just like belly laugh. Yeah. I want to. And I'll look at old videos of him. Like, I also like to watch things with him and his girlfriend. Well, his wife now.
Yeah.
I love their relationship. I look at their interactions and I take from it. Like, I know it sounds corny, but I actually do. Versus like just going to therapy. I'm a big therapy advocate. Counseling, couples counseling, everything. But I actually see their beautiful interactions, and I take from that, and I try to put that into my relationship. But I love to watch his stuff right now. I'm trying to think. I always watch Vice. I always love watching like new series. I told you I want to do my own documentary series. I watch old school stuff like Anthony Bourdain.
You were telling me earlier you were into Noel Miller.
Okay. So I'm into Noel and Cody, but I am super into Trap Lord Ross too. He's like a hip hop content creator. I don't think you're like into that realm, but he is. It's like you gotta put your hat off to the guy. Like, the amount of work that he puts into his docuseries, they're like super interesting. They're 3.5 hours long. it's
like Netflix quality right there.
Yeah, and I love hip hop, so at least I grew up on hip hop, so it's really interesting to me, and I can understand, because as a girl, like, I am Cuban, but I am white passing, as they say, and I grew up, pretty, like, with privilege. And I come from that realm. So it's kind of cool to see someone who is like a white guy from London suburbs making content about hip hop and saying, like, hey, I'm a hip hop head. I like this stuff. I want to talk about it. And then someone stepping out of their comfort zone and not really caring if people are going to be like, you shouldn't be talking about this.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I really love Trap Lord Ross. I should probably you tell me when you like. I'm gonna look at my following.
I mean, obviously we talked about it earlier, but I've just been like deep into Hassan's content.
Oh yeah, you're a
Hassanavi head.
You're a Hassan head.
I'm all caught up in the lore. Yeah. But I also watch like a lot of Curtis Connor, and I was just showing you Danny Gonzalez last night.
Yeah.
Trying to think who else I've been watching a lot of. Ro Ramden. I watch Nick Is Not Green. Like, I'm just...
Oh, I watch Nick Is Not Green.
Really?
I watch him, yeah. He's interesting.
That.
Sometimes he comes off a little weird, but I like him a lot.
I tell you, I met him in person.
You did?
Yeah, I met Nick. Yeah, super cool.
He was cool?
Yeah, I met him in Detroit. Crazy. But he now lives in L.A. He's doing the L.A. YouTube life. Pretty sick.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I like Kendall Ray. So she's like a murder doc series kind of person. She's what I first got into. When I first got into YouTube, I was really into murder mysteries. So I liked her, Bailey Sarian. So those are my two murder mystery girls. Although I also watch Coffee House podcast or something.
I was like, going to say CoffeeZilla.
No, he's like, let me see. Let me shout him out because he's cute. He doesn't even need Coffee House Crime. He's 1.65 million subscribers. He doesn't even need help, but he's awesome.
That's crazy.
I do watch academics. Like I said, I like hip hop. I like to stay posted.
About.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love academics. Like, he's like the kind of guy you love to hate. Like, he's going to say some things that are going to ruffle your feathers, but for the most part,
I was telling Aly this too. Aly's like, I'm watching academics. I'm like, Aly, that's the guy that Hassan was debating. And I think the first thing you said to me, you were like, wait, was it a good or bad debate? Like, what was it about?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
how did it end?
Yeah, how did it end? And I was like, he's controversial.
He's very controversial. That's I feel like he errs on the side of like insulting people to kind of get clicks and stuff, and that's what'll make you very controversial when you're like clickbaity. I definitely feel like they're like doing it just for views. They're like, they're emphasizing their ignorance. They're not really that much of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I think they're just doing it for their chatters or whatever.
Yeah, they're juicing it up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I think that's part of it too. I mean, you do have to learn how to juice a little bit if you're gonna be on the internet.
I'm so mad because I remember one of the Q&As a long time ago was like, what do you watch? And I think I said No Jumper. And I used to watch No Jumper. I did a lot.
Adam comment.
Until like Adam, like, it's just like, oh, it's like, it's a dub. Just
comments not even worth repeating on here.
Yeah,
like,
please don't.
It's so gnarly, but it's like, it's crazy how like certain creators can just like, literally lose their followers.
Cruel World Happy Mind. She's really good. She creates like some long form content that's really good. So that's someone else. Cruel World Happy Mind.
Yeah. Who is there anyone else that sticks out to you?
Not right now.
What genres do you say you watch? You watch like murder mysteries. You watch like commentary.
Oh, you know what's so funny that I got into lately, which nobody would understand. Like, I'm surprised you didn't ask me about this. You probably do if you saw my history. But
I'm not that crazy. I'm not going through your history.
I didn't think so, but if you go on it, I'd watch like 12 videos in a row and More Plates, More Dates.
Oh, I do watch More Plates, More Dates. Yeah.
So since I've gotten really into the fitness realm, I saw one of his videos on like birth control and something for women, and then from there I went down the rabbit hole of him reading Reddit stories. He's hilarious just because he's not trying to be anybody else. He's not even trying to be perfect. Like, he misspeaks all the time. The editing is not that good. Like the lighting is not that good. It's just so raw. And you could just tell he's a genuine dude. So I've been watching a lot of that, and it's interesting. It's interesting. A lot of these stories are pretty crazy. So yeah, I've been watching that, which is weird. That if you see someone's history, that'll go to show you like who they are.
It does.
So I'm watching murder docs. I'm watching fucking More Plays More Dates. I'm watching. I don't even know. Dude.
I almost feel like YouTube at times can like. You know what's so okay? This is the one thing I don't know why I didn't bring this up yet, but like. So first off, More Plates, More Dates, I started watching because of my hair surgery that I had got.
Oh, he
has videos, like, I don't know if it's about, like, the medication and, like, things you can do that, like, natural supplements you can take for, you know, after you get it or before you get it to keep your hair, or, like, he's got videos like that to help you out, so that's why I watch him. And another of my friends sent me a big, long video he made about it, so I started watching him. But what I was going to say is, I think it's kind of what you said earlier a little bit, but I think that's what's so crazy is like, you know, we can watch the same YouTubers and like have a normal in real life conversation about it. Whereas like, I don't know if you've experienced this, but like for me, like out in public where I've been like talking with a friend and I'm like, oh yeah, like, you know, when like that Mr. Beast thing, and then I'm like, I'll like freeze up and I'm like, pretend I didn't.
Yeah, because you don't know if they're in that world.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I don't know too many people in this world. That's why it's like it's hard to like relate to people. That's why we kind of get along, because we actually watch this stuff. But a lot of people aren't on YouTube. Like you don't really get the stuff that's going on.
Or like the other thing I've ran into too is like I'll even just like openly ask people, like, even if I'm like just meeting them, we'll be like figure out who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like you watch any like YouTube videos, and you like, and they're like, some people will just hit me with I just watching like funny memes on there now and then I'm like, like I almost like when I hear that, it tells me a little bit about them already.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm like, all right, I already feel like it's not gonna have that same like face to face conversation about this kind of stuff.
It's like, what do you do for fun? You know, it's like it just goes to tell you like. My story doesn't really change. I just and Alan made fun of me for a really long time because we're very different. Like my partner, he's a football player. For fun, he plays video games. He likes Madden. He likes Call of Duty. Video gamer. He loves, but that's like the hunter gatherer in him. Like he's constantly on the field, literally being a fucking modern day gladiator. Yeah. So when he's off the field, he's still in that mode, and he gets that off by playing those video games. And I get it. Yeah. For me, he'll watch me watch YouTube videos and he's like, what the fuck? You're not bored? Like, you've been sitting there watching it. And sometimes, like, I'll have my laptop, I'll have the TV, but I'll be watching it on my phone. Yeah. And he's like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes it just feels better. Like, it's weird. But it's definitely a community. And I feel that. I can't wait to, like, come across someone that, like, watches the same stuff I watch. Yeah. I will say... that does happen to me because I'll cross over. I'll start to follow people from YouTube on Instagram, and then I'll see someone that I follow like their stuff, and I'm like, I knew I liked you. Yeah, I knew I liked you.
Okay, wait. Can I give you a quick little story on that?
Of course.
So Jarvis Johnson's another creator that I watch.
Yeah,
and my old boss, for sake of not knowing who she is, but for someone I work for, I saw her name pop up on the likes for Jarvis's photo, and I immediately sent her an Instagram DM. I'm like, all right, we got sorted this out. She's like, yeah, I watched this. And then she's like, we're like, who do you watch? She's like, I watched this. And then I was like, yo, I did a podcast with this guy. Like, and I showed her, she was like, what? And then we had that whole thing of like, yo, you're watching YouTube too type of thing. And there's something that just like, it hits different. But on the contrary, I do actually appreciate, like, there's been a couple times where like, you and I are like even just chopping up about something, and like Alan would be like, well, why do you guys even care about that? Yeah. Like, why does that even matter to you? Yeah. It's not, you know what I'm saying? And like,
it's personality types.
Yeah. And like, I actually respect that too, because like sometimes I get too glued into that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like into the lore, and I'm like, oh, I got to wake up tomorrow. I got to find out if this person's going to jail or not. But like, Alan would be over here be like, dude, who cares?
Yeah. Fuck it. Like, yeah, for sure. That's the balance. You have to like not get caught up in it and not get too, you have to live life. You have to be in the real world. I think me and my trainer, please Gen Zers don't kill me. But like me and my personal trainer talk a lot about how in his last relationship, it didn't work out because this girl went down the rabbit hole of like, what is it called? Fucking, when you like attract things with your hand.
Oh, we like telekinesis.
Telekinesis.
There it
No,
is.
is that what it is?
Was it?
Whatever. It's like the fucking thing with the hand and like you open doors and shit and like her brain and she wanted to manifest things.
Manifesting?
Yeah, everything, all that. And like I mean, I'm into that and I'm spiritual, but like I have Gen Z friends and they're like overboard with it and it's just like what how the trainer put it is like I like that and I'm spiritual and I love to read and I love to be in tune with myself and my emotions, but at a certain point you have to like be accountable. Because the one thing that's like missing from that like a whimsical like idea is like, yeah, you have to be spiritual, but you also have to like live every day. You have to wake up and you have to be productive. You have to be like a human being. You have to do stuff. So it's like you have to hold yourself a little bit accountable. You can't get too lost into one rhetoric. You can't get too lost in one content creator. And
you're just lost in the sauce in general. And it's so crazy because like I mean I guess this is a good thing to talk about too because you kind of scratched on it earlier, but I think having someone like myself and like yourself as well, like we're both like on social media a lot, whether we're like even just viewing content or whether we're making content or whether it's just like even something as simple as like Instagram posting or trying to like hold up your brand. Like it feels hard to like step away. There's only been like, I think 2 or 3 times. I know you've taken more steps away from social media in your life than I have, but it is the hardest leap to make because it's like an addiction.
It never gets easier either. I'll say that. You always feel like, I remember that was the last question I had. I had a therapist who I owe my life to, seriously. In California, I found him. And they focus more on like their holistic practice. So they focus more on that kind of healing. And one day we finally got down to the nitty gritty and I told him that I just wasn't happy online. And I was like forcing myself and that was making my anxiety worse. And he laughed and I didn't know why he was laughing. But yeah, afterwards he told me, he said, "You are my 6th patient, client, whatever he wanted to call me that day. That's an influencer, quote unquote, that is dealing with this dilemma right now. And it's going to happen to you regardless. So that's why like you need to have, everything is cyclical. Like you're going to have times where you need to take a little step away. And the good thing about that is like, if you have a real core following, they're going to be there when you come back. And like I said, it is hard. It's scary. It's like, are they still going to love me? The drop off will be there. The views will drop off a little bit. But again, it's the same idea as like chasing the views. Like if you're chasing the views, trying to go viral, you're going to end up making shitty content.
And people can tell. People can tell.
Sorry,
just like they can tell that my mic fell.
Your mic's got erectile dysfunction. Just like they can tell it needs a little Viagra over there. Jesus Christ. It's literally like every time he's holding it up, it's like...
The mic's like, no thank you. Not today. Not today.
Not bricked up for you, boy.
I'm dead.
I'm just saying.
That's funny as hell.
Hello to the world. All right. That's an element.
Stay up. It's going to stay up this time.
It's all about balance. So you don't want to burn out.
Yeah. And I think and not only do you feel it, but I think I've heard this said before, and I haven't experienced it, but I've heard that like when you're burnt out and you're making content while you're burnt out, your audience feels it, whether like you think you are or not.
Yeah.
Your audience can be like, I bet, bro, take a break. Like, I know I've seen it in like people's comments that I watch. Like people are like, it's okay, you need to take a break.
I mean, you know what's so sad? I tried to post to like, and I'm not trying to get into this because it's sad, but like I had postpartum depression.
Go for it.
So it was hard, but I kept trying to post because I had a Fashion Nova deal and like you're contractually obligated to post. So I kept having to post like these like, hey, buy this Fashion Nova top. And like, it's the reason why I don't really take brand deals anymore because I don't like to feel forced into posting inauthentic shit.
Yeah, that's a very real thing.
They, they wanted me to still post and I understand they paid me their money and I owed them that post. So
yeah, I
had to post, but people, and this is what's so creepy. Sometimes people are wrong. Like I told you, the picture of Alan and I that I posted the other day, and there was just a bunch of haters under it, just saying whatever. But then the pictures I would post when I didn't want to, and I was like forced to post, people would comment. They would be like, "There's an emptiness in your eyes." you look sad, like, well, you look depressed, like, and there would be like, it would be overcome with comments, and I would be like, this is crazy that these people know, like, and I mean, maybe some of them were full of shit, but to be honest, I don't get those comments anymore. I don't get them anymore. So it's like they do feel that, so you can't like force the content. You kind of like, you have to feel. It's so weird. I'm talking a lot, but I just saw.
No, that's what it's for. It's a podcast.
I just saw this relationship podcast snippet where the girl was talking about you have to be okay with losing everybody. You have to be okay with losing every single person in your life that you care about. Just because like that's the way you're going to keep them, and that's the way you're going to attract more of that into your life. So like in the same way you're scared to walk away from Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, whatever it is that you're doing, like you can't be afraid to do that, because like you have to trust in what you've built so far, and that you can bounce back. Your resilience is you're gonna get it tenfold. So
I mean, as much as like I don't follow this guy particularly, but I know you know him. Gary V had that one take where it was like the beginning, and it was a TikTok that went viral, but like the first few words he said, he was like, imagine your whole family is dead or whatever.
Jesus Christ.
And it's like, hey, whoa. But it goes, you know, his overarching point was what you were talking about. And it really like, it's like perspective too at the end of the day, and just like your outlook and how, you know, you can like balance that. Just back to what you were saying. Cause it's like, and this is, you know, I'm speaking from someone who is not very good at finding the balance. I mean, I'm not good at like being like, all right, I'm going to be off social media for 2-3 days and come back to it. Cause like a part of me feels like a guilt for getting off of it, in a way of like, I'm going to miss some Instagram messages. Maybe I won't have work tomorrow because I wasn't on Instagram today. And so it's like, I feel this constant need to like get back on it and like feed the exact weird addiction cycle of social media, which I don't know if this is going too off track or not, but I started hearing some like really weird stuff recently with like reels, where I guess they'll penalize you on the views if you aren't making the reel like actually in reels. Like they'll give you more views for
if you make it in the reel versus reels, like uploading the video as a reel,
because they see the metadata was done with the editing in the app, and that shows that you have more time spent on their app, which is what they want you.
Do you think that's real?
I saw about 2 or 3 different videos about it, and I'm not going to confirm it, but with how they want your attention, that's all they want. It kind of checks out, but if you don't think that's real, I mean, I want to hear like what you think.
No, I totally, I get it, just because I'm like out of it. I'm not into the TikTok culture, so the reels is a new thing for me. I'd like to get. I feel like an oldie. I feel like, you know, someone that they have to teach about it. But I do think that these social sites are a little, you know, they're gonna push specific people and specific rhetorics that they want to. The real that's scary, because I never make my reels, and I'm trying. And I never make my reels on my reel. Like I'll make it.
What I do wonder, the other side of it is like, you know how like, and you were saying you don't really go through reels too much, but when you go through them, a lot of them are like trending audio. So I wonder if that's what they're talking about, because you make it in reels and you can use the trending audio. And so maybe that's how they want. But I guess my overarching point here is like it just takes a little thing like that to like feed into the addiction cycle, to make people's mental health like get like worse and worse kind of
for sure
over time. I think, you know, overall, like it's something that we both kind of experienced, just like using it so much, and then like becoming.
What I was gonna say that's funny is that we both have the same fears, obviously, with not going on, like missing work and stuff, but as that shows our gender differences, because yours is more work based, mine is more relevance based. I feel like if I go off, like the next 20-year-old is like gonna kill the game, and like people are gonna forget that Miss Alyssa Sorto ever existed, you know. But as you also get older, you like, and even with that, Max, the clientele you're building, the people, the connections and stuff, you have to trust that that's gonna be there. You have to trust the quality of your work, that it's good enough for someone to still come, you know. So you need a break every now and then,
I think, you know, that's crazy. That'd probably be like a good way to like kind of bring everything to a close here is like, back from the start of what we were saying, like
keep yawning because it's getting late.
Yeah, that was kind of like, when you first messaged me, you were literally the first person with 1 million followers to ever message me. Like, and I was literally like in that like weird phase of like,
he thought I was a fake page. He thought I was like one of those trolls that like comments like, hey honey, send me $5 and I send you pics.
Yeah, like because Instagram will put the message there and it'll show like follower count.
And because like at that point I was just like all like bikini pics and stuff too. So I
hadn't even looked at your page yet, to be honest. Like it just, and I was like, this gotta be a troll page. Like there's no way. And it's crazy that like,
I'm glad you took the chance.
Because I was in that phase of like, and I might be speaking like for people that have a similar job as me, but when you see someone with that kind of following message you almost like, I don't know what it's called, but like you almost think you're like not good enough or whatever it is to work with someone with
imposter syndrome.
Yeah. And so you're like, in your head, you're like, oh, there's no way, like absolutely no way. And then like as soon as I opened the message, you're like, oh, let's do and I was like, oh, okay. I in my head, I'm like, it validated me. That I was like, oh, I am good enough for someone.
For sure.
But then at the end of the day, too, there's the other side of it where it's like, someone's got a follower. It doesn't change their personality. It doesn't change who they are.
And also like having the following, like making the collaboration. I know what I'm bringing to the table. You're filming me.
Yeah.
I hate that I have a stuffy nose right now. You're filming me. So I'm the talent. Like I'm bringing half of what, if the video doesn't do well, it's not going to not do well because you're a shitty videographer. It's because I'm a shitty content creator. Like I don't, you know what I mean? You're helping me.
Yeah.
So and you're really great at what you do. We've kept you around for a reason.
Yeah.
And I trusted within what we wanted to do. And I wanted more to find people we could grow with rather than like, it was funny because I think that I had like interviewed this like real big like music video guy that works like with the hip hop artists there, like G Herbo and like all the fucking Chicago rappers and stuff, and he was asking for like some crazy shit, and I'm like, dude, like we're just trying to build a podcast. Like I'm not trying to fucking go through Chirac and like do the whole 9 and look like, I don't know.
Yeah, and
I'm trying to look like Beyonce. I'm just trying to like look like a podcaster,
And you've had like so many experiences like that I think you told me about shortly after that, where it was like people wanted to do a photo shoot with you, and because they saw you had 1 million followers, they're like, let's do a photo shoot, 30 minutes. All right, $3,000. Like, let's go. And like people try to chew you up for like the amount of money just because of your followers.
For sure.
Which is like a whole thing. And like I was like well aware of that, like walking into it. And so I'm not going to be like, hey, you got 1 million followers, $5,000.
For sure. I remember that was something Angel and I had even talked about, because Angel was like, fuck, I should have messaged him.
Yeah.
Because she didn't have a following, and it was, or like her platform was not as large. And she just wanted to, she was like, I should have messaged him because then he would take advantage. But lucky for us, you were a good guy. So it worked out. But
we're glad this all worked out. And it's cool because now, we've made this podcast.
Yeah, happen. I don't know what this is called, but we can call it, this isn't a podcast. But I really was thinking about scripting it, but I was like, with the conversations we have, like what we talk about is so not scripted. It's very conversational, so I wanted to let it rip. This is a regular night.
It is. We would be talking about this anyway.
Yeah.
Literally.
You missed like the whole day. Yeah. We were together the whole day.
Yeah.
And like we talked.
We did a photo shoot earlier.
Yeah.
We filmed 2 YouTube videos yesterday, coming soon on the Aly Sorto channel.
We're doing a lot. We're working.
Yeah, we got a lot in the works coming up, but I guess
we'll name this later. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah, shout out your socials. I know you talked about it, but shout your socials or where they can find you.
Instagram is Miss Alyssa Sorto, MS period Alyssa Sorto. YouTube is Aly Sorto, ALY SORTO, and I think that's all.
Yeah, and then did you want to shout out your girlies page?
Okay, so yes, my girlies page, that is for just females, feminine energy. That's Cautious Example, and then the podcast is No Cover Charge.
And then you want to shout out the other one too? That's gonna be going a little sneak peek.
Oh my god! I guess I can show. So me, I'm so stuffy. Me and Alan are doing the Owls. We're going to do a partnership, a little relationship pod. So I'm excited for that. Max is going to be like our guy, our little computer guy. And it's going to be fun. You're going to just pop in with random opinions.
Oh, hell yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait. But yeah, hey, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Problem.
And yeah, hopefully, we'll do some more podcasts.
Yeah, we'll do
more,
more.
But stay tuned for the Aly Sorto content.
Hey.
And hit that subscribe button if you guys enjoyed this.
Sure.
We'll
Let us know. And what you want us to talk about. Because we can do some virtual stuff. We can do some virtual stuff. We can talk. We can chop it up.
You got topic ideas, throw it down in the comments.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know. Okay.
This is a weird combo. This is just like fucking Ethan and Trisha.
It literally is. I don't think that's who people like. They're not gonna watch my podcast expecting me to be. You know what I'm saying? Like,
people but that is funny.
Yeah, because people even sometimes people click on the stuff like the tag or something I post. People are like, they'll be like, "Who is that?" Like, it's like that's not. You know what I'm saying? They're not expecting that. So this is good. This is a good episode. I'm excited. This happened. Freaking did it. But smash that subscribe button. That is the podcast episode. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.